The research suggested that upwards of 40 million people consider themselves to have Scottish heritage. Many represent Scotland in their own ways, from organising St Andrews societies, burn suppers at Highland Games, to teaching traditional dance or the Gaelic language. Scots have long travelled the world, and this is evident in place names such as Neue Schottland, Nowe Scotia in Poland, and its namesakes Nuevo Escocia in Argentina and Nova Scotia in Canada. They travelled for different reasons, as traders, as economic migrants, as victims of the Highland clearances, or simply to make a better life for their families. But many were also part of Britain's imperial adventures, including the transatlantic slave trade, and we've committed to be open and learn from less comfortable chapters in our history, but also embracing those who descend from those times. Thousands of Scots migrated to countries including the United States of America, Canada, Australia and New Zealand in the 18th, the 19th and the 20th century, seeking better opportunities. Many families in Scotland therefore have links to these countries today. Over 5 million Americans claim Scottish heritage. Scottish Government's office in Washington, D.C. and SDI offices across the country collaborate with our trade envoys and with Global Scots to increase trade and investment between our two countries. But they also work closely with a range of US-based organisations like the Caledonian Club of New York City, the American Scottish Foundation, the St Andrews Society of the State of New York and Clan Campbell to deliver a spectacular and a growing series of events at Tartan Week. Tartan Week draws huge crowds, providing a platform for Scottish business, for higher education, for culture and tourism to be showcased in many American cities. Canada's 2021 census confirmed that 4.4 million Canadians claim Scottish descent. Our Ottawa office engages Canadian Scots across the country, from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, via Toronto and Montreal to Whitehorse, Yukon, on the edge of the Arctic. More than a quarter of Nova Scotians claim Scottish heritage. Many speak Gaelic and regularly celebrate Scotland's culture. The province also dedicates 2 weeks of the year to Celtic Colours, a festival which took inspiration from Celtic Connections in Glasgow, which lets Scottish artists bring their talents to new audiences while supporting our own Indigenous language. Over 2 million Australians identify as having Scottish ancestry, as do many New Zealanders. And I was delighted to receive the proposal from my colleague Stuart McMillan, MSP, suggesting that we promote Scotland via Tartan Week in Australia, and look forward to discussing that issue further with him. Large Scottish communities also exist in Argentina, home to the St Andrews Scots School since 1838, and Balmoral College, which was established in 1959, and also in Brazil, where Scottish traders and industrialists imported football, only to see their newfound compatriots improve the game. I think everybody who commits to keeping our country's traditions alive around the world, and as somebody who lived abroad myself for a decade, I understand the pull of home and desire to celebrate and gather with other like-minded diaspora Scots. And this is why we've decided to expand our approach to adopt a broad and inclusive definition of diaspora. We want to strengthen and expand Scotland's links, not only with those of Scottish heritage, but also to include people who've lived in Scotland for any reason. This includes alumni of Scotland's world-leading educational institutions, those who lived and worked in Scotland, including our fellow Europeans who came here under European Union freedom of movement and contributed so much to our country. And Scotland's relationship with Europe remains strong. The Caledonian Society of France celebrated its centenary in 2022. There's a Scotland hub at the University of Mainz promoting Scottish culture. Diaspora and community is one of the priority areas in the Ireland-Scotland joint bilateral review. And beyond that, we will reach out to those with a professional, a business, cultural or other links to Scotland, our affinity diaspora.